Welcome everyone. My name is Freddie Salazar. I'm a program specialist with Energy Trust of Oregon. And here today we're going to be talking about some small business incentives and for community-based organizations. So we'll get into what that's going to look like, but a little bit about us first. Energy Trust, if you're not familiar with them, we're an independent nonprofit. We serve 1.8 million customers of Portland General Electric, Pacific Power, and then 3 natural gas utilities, which is Northwest Natural, Cascade Natural Gas, and Avista in Southwest Washington. And so the goal of Energy Trust is to provide you with access to clean, affordable energy. We do that through 2 different ways, through energy efficiency of investments, which is what we'll be talking about today. So these are the incentives and rebates that we provide, and through generating homegrown renewable energy through solar, wind, and geothermal technologies. So doing that all together, we help build a stronger Oregon and Southwest Washington and reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. So from Energy Trust's perspective, right, we've been around since 2002. We've served about 770,000 sites and have delivered about 18,000 clean energy systems. And so what that really means is that translates into about $8.9 billion in savings on utility bills for the participants in the program through energy efficiency and solar investments. So kind of equating that to something a little bit more tangible, that's about the equivalent in offsetting 7 million cars from the road. So pretty big impact here that we've done since 2002. So getting into what we're here to chat about today, so the offers for small businesses. So really this small business offering was designed by Energy Trust to deliver a large number of projects to small businesses. So one of the things that we've kind of been hearing is that, you know, small businesses aren't really able to participate in these offerings, the incentives aren't high enough, so we've designed this specifically for small businesses. And so these are increased incentives that help serve small independently owned businesses and community organizations. We do that through 2 different ways. So the first is we provide increased incentives for energy efficiency projects. So that can be things related to HVAC, water heating, insulation, and as well as refrigeration and grocery equipment. And then we also have a no-cost lighting equipment upgrade service that we'll be talking about a little bit as well today. So how are you eligible to receive these services? So Energy Trust provides these to the investor-owned utilities in Oregon. So they're listed here. That's Portland General Electric, Pacific Power. Those are going to be our 2 electric utilities. And then Northwest Natural, Cascade Natural, and Avista on the gas side. And so the way you qualify for these incentives is you have the eligibility requirements are you are a business that is 20 employees or fewer, or you operate in a space that's 20,000 square feet or less. So little distinction there. It can be either or, does not have to be both, as well as that eligibility requirement. We do have one that's sort of non-public facing, not market facing, and that's for our community service providers. So if you're a nonprofit or an organization that provides free or reduced services to the community, you would be eligible for this offering as well, regardless of your employee size or square footage. So just something to keep in mind for folks that operate in nonprofit sectors or provide some kind of service to the community. So just a couple examples of the types of businesses that, you know, would qualify for this offering. So things like food service, convenience stores, as I mentioned before, nonprofits would qualify under that community service provider, churches as well, small offices. And we also have multifamily common areas. So if you're an affordable housing community, that's a service that's provided to the community. So the common areas in that space would also be eligible for some of these offerings, particularly the no-cost lighting upgrade program. So the first component of this is the small business offering, or as we refer to it, the SBO. And so what we've done with this is we've gotten together with a group of contractors. So these are contractors that are familiar with working with small businesses. They understand kind of the needs of small businesses to help kind of increase or promote this offering into the market. So we've created this closed network of contractors that you can contact, and in this offering, they kind of help you through that process, right? They identify equipment that's eligible, they help you understand what the upgrade needs to look like, and they're familiar with all the requirements that would get you these higher incentives. And so as part of that, again, mentioning HVAC, water heating, insulation, refrigeration, the way this works is that these contractors will go out and they'll provide you with a report for your site. And if you like what you see or you want to move forward with the project, they'll actually take that incentive directly off of your invoice, reducing your out-of-pocket costs. So there's nothing that you need to fill out. There's no paperwork that you need to submit. The contractor kind of handles all of that for you. And so that's how we've designed this offering. And again, these are enhanced incentives that are higher than you would get under the standard offering through the program. And now for the more exciting piece of the offering, our no-cost lighting offering. So again, this is the same eligibility criteria, 20 employees or fewer, 20,000 square feet or less, or you're a community service provider. And so this offering operates very similarly to the previous one mentioned for small businesses. So the way it works is that we'll actually send somebody out to your site to provide you with the lighting assessment. And that's just them going out and looking at what opportunity exists at the site. Once they do that, they'll provide you with a report that outlines all the energy savings opportunities that they find on site. You review that report, you say, I like it, let's move forward, and then we'll actually go out and install the lighting equipment for you. So the way that works is we take all that information, we pass it on to one of the contractors in our network. They'll reach out to you directly to schedule the install, and once they're done, we pay them directly, so there's no out-of-pocket cost for you as a customer for this offering. So just some steps to participation. So I always say the first step is establishing eligibility. If you have any questions, first stop should be Energy Trust. You can call myself or the existing buildings program, to figure out whether you're eligible or not. Again, that criteria is 20 employees or less, or 20,000 square feet or smaller. And we do have the community service provider definition as well. So give us a call. We'll walk you through that process. Once we're there, we'll talk about you receiving a site assessment. So that's a no-cost energy audit that we're providing to you. So someone from the staff will come out, take a look at the opportunities that are on site, and again, provide you with that report. So once you receive that report, you review and approve your project scope. Maybe it makes sense to only do lighting today. Maybe you're pursuing HVAC, whatever the case is, you review that and approve it, and we'll handle the rest, right? We'll go into scheduling installation, and then once everything's installed, you benefit from the savings that you receive from that new equipment. Okay, so some frequently asked questions about this offering. So why is Energy Trust offering increased incentives and free lighting, right? So as I mentioned at the start of the presentation, small businesses, folks located in rural areas, communities of color have just historically been underserved by the program. And so this is our way of creating a program that's gonna help meet more of the need in the community. And again, for small businesses that may not have the capital to do a lighting upgrade project, or may not have enough money to fully fund the cost of an HVAC upgrade. So the intention of this is to really help small businesses in this space. And so that's what we've created this offering to hopefully do. And so do I have to own the building or the unit? What about if I have a commercial industrial space? So if you own the building, you can participate, but if you don't, we can definitely work with whoever is the building owner to get these upgrades installed even in your space. So put us in touch with your building owner. We'd be happy to talk to them and provide these similar services so that you and other tenants within the space can benefit from it as well. So you don't have to own the building. We're here to kind of help also have that conversation with your landlord or with your building owner as well. Okay. And if I participate in this offer, am I still eligible to receive other incentives? And the answer to that is yes. Just because you receive no-cost lighting upgrades or an enhanced incentive from this program doesn't mean you can't pursue other standard incentives from the program as well. So all the other Energy Trust offerings, whether it be solar or some other commercial incentive, you can definitely still participate in that. So this doesn't bar you from also receiving additional incentives from the program. And so can I use my existing contractor to do the installation? So as I mentioned, this is a closed network of contractors. So unfortunately, we don't have, we can't utilize any contractor. However, though, if you have a contractor that you're really interested in working with it, it's somebody that you have a long history with, put them in contact with the program, put them in contact with myself. I'm happy to walk them through the steps of getting enrolled. And if they're willing to go through that process, then they would benefit from being able to offer these to their communities and their customers as well. And then they could in turn, also install the equipment on your behalf. So currently, no, you can't use any contractor, but I'm always open to having folks enroll into the program so that they can also, implement these upgrades and savings measures for their customers and communities. So with that, that's kind of the end of our presentation. Again, my name is Freddie Salazar. I'm an energy advisor here on the existing buildings program for Energy Trust. If you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me directly. My contact information is right here. I also have Jose Soto, who's our outreach manager. He handles a lot of the lighting inquiries as well, so please feel free to reach out to him as well if you have a lighting specific inquiry, but either one of us can help you in answering any questions you have about this offering. How do rural communities kind of tie into this, or how can they benefit from this? So, part of this program was also finding contractors, right, that can serve those areas. So one of the challenges was like, you're in a rural community. One of the things that we typically hear is we don't have contractors in this area that serve us, right? So someone has to come from Portland Metro or Eugene or somewhere else to come in, and that investment doesn't stay within the community. So a lot of these programs we've tried to find, smaller contractors that are familiar with working with small businesses. In most cases, they are lighting contractors that are within your community. And so we're doing a lot of efforts, to help find folks that are in those communities so that that investment and that into those communities stays in there, right? So that's one of the ways we kind of help that way. So I always say, for rural communities specifically, if you have a lighting contractor in your community that you like to work with, that you enjoy working with, definitely get them in contact with me, because one thing that is kind of part of this is we also want to have that investment stay within the community as well, right? We want to create jobs, and we want to have folks be able to support their own small businesses and support other small businesses as well. So the question was, is there any key items or key things that I should kind of be looking for or keeping in mind as to whether, I would be a good fit for this program? And so one of the things that you had mentioned was, kind of the building age, right? More than 10 years is probably sufficient. Once you start getting past 15, you're starting to look at systems that are reaching or at the end of their life. Even if you have a newer building, code doesn't necessarily translate into energy efficiency. So we're always happy to go out and still take a look at the site for you. So yeah, typically age is number one. If there's any concerns in the space, like the heating isn't heating the space sufficiently or cooling the space sufficiency, that might be a sign that the equipment is at or near the end of its life. For the lighting program, it's pretty straightforward. If you have old fluorescent tubes, so those long fluorescent T8 tubes, those would be eligible for the program. Anything that's an older incandescent technology, so basically anything that's not LED lighting, would likely qualify for the program. So just some things to kind of keep in mind as you're evaluating, does my space have this? Am I experiencing discomfort levels? Is my building a little bit older? So those are all kind of key things that can help guide that. So the question was related to vacant spaces and how we can kind of use this to help promote or provide some kind of enhancement for building owners that are looking to rent out or get the space leased. And so that's a really good question. So again, as part of this program, one of the things that's beneficial, right, is that we're coming in and making an investment in, say, lighting or HVAC equipment, and that can be promoted by building owners in a number of different ways, right? If you lease from me, you have a very energy efficient space, so we can expect lower bills than if you were to rent elsewhere, right, in the same community that doesn't have these types of upgrades, depending on the space and what it could be used for. Again, comfort is really big, right? Is it going to be an office space? Is it going to be a convenience store? So all of those kind of things can tie together. But I think really at the end of the day, you can, if you have a lot of these energy efficiency items in your space, you can promote that by saying, hey, you're not going to have to worry about maintenance, right? Because this equipment is new, or you're not going to have to worry about lighting because this is a new technology, and all of that translates into savings on your energy bill. So the question was related to, additional side benefits of making some of these upgrades, specifically security and maybe safety. So yeah, we refer to those as non-energy benefits, right? Safety being one of them, right? A dimly lit workspace can create a hazard for folks. And so that's a benefit of upgrading, right? Your lighting, especially in a program that provides that at no cost. We do have some additional incentives. So the lighting program does cover exterior lighting as well. So kind of those wall packs that you see, pole lighting in parking lots, things like that are eligible for the program. So if there's areas that are dimly lit or not lit, right, it's something to consider as as a safety benefit, whether that's on the exterior of the building or internally, as a workspace kind of requirement. So the question was related to, who is Energy Trust and where is this funding coming from? I really like this question because it actually comes from the way that our program is actually funded is through your energy bill, right? So all the customers that I mentioned here that would be eligible for this pay into there's a small energy efficiency charge on there. And that actually goes to funding these programs. So part of the mission of Energy Trust is to get that money back out into the community. So I always tell folks, you're already paying into it, so you might as well receive a benefit from it. And so that's how we're funded. And again, we've been around since 2002, but I always say you're paying into it, so definitely use it, because otherwise you're paying into a fund that you're not benefiting from. The website has a ton of information, from things like case studies. We have a handy link right at the top that says find a trade ally. So that's our network of contractors. So you can go in, say I'm looking for an HVAC contractor, you plug in your zip code and a list comes up of folks that could help you out in your area. So the website has information about eligibility, how to participate, enhanced programs. I will say that sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming because it's a lot of information, but that's what we're here for, right? To help kind of guide you into that right direction and help you with eligibility questions and how do I go into the next step of a site assessment and how can I actually participate. But the website does have plenty of incentives, information, and case studies. And we have this little QR code here. I don't know where it's going to be on my screen, but right here or right here, you can scan that with your phone and it'll take you right to the small business interest form, where you can actually just fill out a few questions and it'll get you into the queue for someone to contact you about the program.